10 years. Therefore, they are now telling you lies, they are telling issues which are irrelevant. And I'll explain you why. Okay? Because you don't, as journalists, you don't want such lies to be propagated and, put in the newspaper. So, having just started this, I'm glad you have mentioned that to me. More reasons why we are here, but I'm going to explain my background that we are also investors. And in 2008, my brother in California wanted to invest here, and he wanted to. The land is very suitable, okay, and people, it was an agricultural land. That is, people had kibanjas, and they were growing their crops. So obviously, we contacted them, and time to time, and they bought kibanjas from various people, and up to 10, we paid them up to 10 million shillings for kibanja. But on the other hand, there were other plots next to it, they were already registered, right? And what happened, it's not only we own those plots, we bought some of those registered plots. I've got the title deeds here, so that you're clear about the background. You see, these are the plots actually. A list is here. And Brother Ahmad's Road. Yes. And they are owned by several people here. I don't know how many they are, 16 or 20 plots. And Brother Ahmad's Road is duly registered. They are not in the wetlands, nothing like that. We own 5 of them. Put our great thoughts. Okay, these are the titles here we have in our names, which we bought from them. Okay, when you go to the court, when you get the bundle, you'll see we have put all this there. Okay, so now be very clear, very clear that we bought registered titles and we bought banjas and we decided to register them as well, so that we had a collateral to raise monies to do our farming, grape farming. That is the background history. But and then you must know when you start, when you apply for any land, to do anything there, the first thing you have to do is go to the physical planner in the council. Now, obviously, I didn't know the procedure, but I'm telling you the procedure we went through, because that was the correct procedure and legal procedure to follow, because you can't register your land, right? Now, what happened there? The first thing you go to physical planner, and when you go to physical planner, you say, look, I want to use this land here and land there for this purpose. They will obviously examine its feasibility, environmental aspect, and so on. So when we went there, they obviously agreed, give us the land, and then we demarcated what land we wanted. So they then drew up the plan like that. Okay, now these are registered here. These are not registered. This is Brother Aman's road. This is Brother Aman's tribe. Now there is distinction. Roads on Brother Aman's road, so the whole road that goes through, perimeter road, those roads there are registered roads. Okay, now the next thing is, here is Brother Aman's tribe. That's where we were fencing roads. agricultural land. We decided, let's buy that. We can have a bigger area to overcome. Now, after this, the physical planner writes to the town clerk, saying this is reference application and shouting for survey of these plots. Now, what happens? Now, this area will have to be surveyed. Okay, this area is surveyed. It's an empty area. Then, whatever these plots are marketed and so on. But then, the physical planner writes to the town clerk, saying that these people want to they want to survey the land along Brother Ahmad's tribe. And she also writing, I wish to recommend those plots are surveyed and developed as marked red on the map for agricultural grapefruit farm. You got it? So taking the initial steps. Yes. Now, because we can't do anything with the land until the authorities have approved it. The physical planner has approved it. It has gone to the town clerk. And what the town clerk does? Town clerk writes to the surveyor. The surveyor in Kampala and surveyor in Entebbe. Surveyor in Mapi. Yeah. These people want to survey the land. Okay. Copy to Justice Chowdhury. So now he has authorized, and then the people in the survey and mapping department go and survey the land. They go and survey the land, and they issue a deed plan. A deed plan. Now, let me show what the deed plan. Right. Now, this is a deed plan here, 13th February 2017, nearly 10 years. So they issued this deed plan showing these plots which are being surveyed and which want to register and for the purposes of grapefruit farm. Okay? Now, is there any discrepancy so far? No. We are going through. Look, this land is a public land belonging to Entebbe municipality. So any person who can give you this land is the Entebbe municipality. Okay, make it very clear. This is a public land which was owned by Entebbe municipality, and people are there doing different things, bazaar and whatever. But somebody wants to give you the land, it is Entebbe municipality. I'll come to that in a minute. Because they gave me the land, they made an application for me for registration of the title. Now, this is the plan, deed plan here. Now, obviously, over a period of time, this change, the new sort of deed plan, I think there is my lawyer wrote to them saying, our client above mentioned plot and was issued with deed plan prints for sale. However, these prints are in an old system. So they issued new prints under the new system. And those new system, if I may show you, where is the new system? Somewhere. So let's start off. We have gone from beginning, like before the egg hatches, right? We have gone through that stage, infancy, right up to the registration of the title. Okay, and no objections have been made of any kind apart from the notice of land board. There were flimsy issues And this is not affecting the airport tower when it was in the police post. Right? How do you argue with this? How far can you keep on going to argue? And it took us 10 years now we are here, and the land is still not registered. Now remember one thing, if you behave like that, you are jeopardizing the country's economic development. Remember that. Don't listen to these fools because they are corrupt. They want to make money. They want to grab land. But if they understand that we are going here, we come here as investors, we are going to put millions of dollars, and we are going to create jobs, and so on. And that concept they don't understand. Just because they are sitting in that position, and there's nobody to challenge. But they don't understand that young people like you and him there, they need jobs. Jobs have to be created. Economic development has to take place. Now imagine if our grapefruit farm was there. By now we would have been producing wine, selling everywhere. But if you behave like that with investors, forget about that. You'll never improve and you'll never succeed. That's the difference between Uganda and Singapore or Malaysia. Those countries became independent just before or just after Uganda's independence. See how developed they are. I was yesterday with the principal judge, and I told her, I said, please, don't waste your time with the judiciary and so on. Introduce AI, artificial intelligence. I said, even now, Iran and America are fighting wars, they are using AI. AI is used everywhere in the Western world. And we will be left behind 50 years. And she took a note of it. There is no corruption in the civil service. Nobody will be corrupt. The other problem is, if you complain against somebody, total impunity. Person from bottom to the top will laugh at you behind your back. Nobody complaining to about what? Because they're all birds of the same feather. Understand? This committee, they went there, they inspected the land, they approved it, then they made an application to the district land board.
And it will be demarcation.
Demarcation, we did all that. Under section 10, section 9, section 6, whatever it was, they did that with the land act.
Judge, regarding judge, don't you think that because now according to the officials at the district, they are saying you are using your influence because you have very many players, you are producing these orders that
my friend, there is no question of influence. The question is, if I didn't buy, hope somebody else could have bought them. Oh. I bought for a purpose. I was an investor with my brother in California. He was setting up a great food farm. Now these people here, what use was the land to them? It was an agricultural land there, which we were buying, agricultural fruits, not anything else.
After they have raised an issue that the land is part of the wetland, the roads, the limits of water, and the environment, they made the report. They said that the land does not form part of the wetland. However, some slopes have their land overlapped into even those spots themselves, they're not entirely in there, but just part of them extends or overlaps the wetland. Each demarcation here has its acreage. Each demarcation, which I'll give you these things, has its seal or no.
is it the mark rate?
The mark rate, yes, it says here. Everything's elaborate. be informed that according to the structural data provided by you and physical inspection conducted by officials from the Wetlands Management on your site, okay, the above plots do not fall within the wetland.
This is the new deed plan now. Okay? This is the old one and this is the new one. Okay, with the new system. Now, the important thing also to bear in mind at this stage that we have got this all the background information to make an application. So we make a further matter to the area land committee, the municipality. Correct? Now, what does the municipality do? Now, here. Now, Entebbe municipality is acknowledged in the court. Here, who made the application for my freehold, given me the land, the freehold, the right to so this land office. Now moves to Entebbe, goes to Wakiso. Now in Wakiso are all the culprits sitting there. Fox. They want to obstruct left, right, and center. The most corrupt institution in the country. Right? And then there is flimsy issues. Nonsensical, no relevance, nothing. And the Entebbe Municipality Council again writes to them, okay, demolishing their arguments. So this is what happened. So this is their I'll come to Civil Aviation Authority as well, who was conniving with the land board to obstruct us.
But now the land board has saying this is the wetland.
You let him.
Let me cut him short. Let me cut him short. My friend, nobody from the beginning to now objected that it is in the wetland. First of all, how would the surveyor have produced this deed plan without surveying the land? And if it was in the wetland, they wouldn't have touched it. I'm telling you, that's why you have come here. You have come to hear the other side of the story, so that you are not duped and not fooled, otherwise you end up in the courts. You'll have a defamation case for me, isn't it? So you're now hearing from the right person, an educated person, who's got full knowledge of the law and who has got the resources to fight any fool. Okay? Now, you have raised the issue, wetland, you know. You have had 10 years in the courts. Nobody raised the issue of wetland. The judges didn't raise the issue of wetland. Okay? Nobody raised the issue. And if it was in wetland, this land, deed plans would have been issued. It is illegal to go and issue a deed plan on a wetland. Correct? Understand? Now, I'll tell you other things. Because I'm a prudent man, because I wasn't born yesterday, I'm now nearly 80 years old. You're like my grandchildren. You understand? Yeah. So I anticipated that these people, corrupt people, will again try and corner me and say, oh, you took this close from wetland. So what I did, I wrote. What did I write to? The highest authority in the country. And who is the highest authority in the country? Commissioner of Wetland Management Department, Ministry of Waters and Environment. Right? I wrote to them. I was very prudent. I knew that these things would be coming. They will attack me, you know, for no reason. And if I don't have a backup, I'm left behind. So I wrote to them. I said, please tell me if the clothes fall within in wetland. Now, nobody had challenged that before because they did not fall in wetland. Now here, they came up, they came here, they went to the land, they surveyed the land, everything. They produced the further maps here. This is, you see, all this. Huh? And they said, yes, your land does not fall in wetland. We give you the authority, no objection letter, and you go and register your plots. But one proviso that some of the plots overlap. Overlap with the certain swamp there. Namilombo,
Namiro.
Namiros. So they said, but they said, just cut that off. What is falls within that Namiro, limit your development just before that. This is the letter. You could all read it. And it's signed by on behalf of Magara Nicholas, for Commissioner, Wetland Management Department, copy to Environmental Affairs Director. In that name. Now, where is the argument that this land is falling in wetland and the judge is now breaking the laws, he is encroaching the land, I mean, foolish people, foolish fucking bastards, if I may say so. You can read this, madam, you want to read. It does not fall in wetland, and the highest authority in the land of the wetland came, surveyed the land, produced a detailed report that said no. Yeah, okay, you go and register them, you have no objection. Got it? Now, so far, where have I gone wrong? Did I do anything wrong? Now, another thing, they made various excuses. Can you drop a drum in 30 acres? So, now, let me show you. You see, we were very thorough when we did our work, homework. We didn't want any, knowing the culture of the society, because they want to take advantage wherever they can. And corruption is rampant. So we had very, very thorough in what we did. Now, see the report here. Yes, the report. Very, very clear, very, very clear, very, very clear. Assessment for the proposed expansion of the Entebbe airport. Now, none of this catches our land. Completely independent, completely out of the scope. Then there was various issues. This is that, nothing new that, some nonsense. Shit there anyway. We are going to that, right? Now, what's next? Now, so we apply. Now we apply to the what's it called, Entebbe Municipality Council, whom the land belongs and who dish out the lands. Okay, and we applied there, and they started raising issues. Oh, the airport is there. An airport cannot be there because it's too small an area. Number two, oh, there is an airport tower. Funny thing, there's an airport tower. Now, there was a police post and they called it airport tower. Oh, it is the airport tower. This such stupid examples they brought in, right, to argue with us. But the whole idea was to delay the process. And the process was delayed, and we applied to the court for judicial review. And we won. 3 judges came in, 2 judges dealt with that, and we won all of our applications against them. But their reasoning was flawed, irrational, whatever it was. So that's what they said, right? The reasoning was flawed, unreasonable, irrational. That's what the judges said. You know, they applied for land to be registered, register the land and get away. They were obstructing us, obstructing us. As they obstructed us, we kept applying to the court. Because I know the law and I've got the resources to fight anybody. Okay? And I did not instruct any lawyers. I fought the case myself. Now, we won the case. So now, that's where we have reached. Okay. Now, can you say, and the courts are now giving ruling in our favor, saying, file a report, register the title. Now, the last ruling, when they were not behaving, we sued them under the Human Rights Act. Now, this is one of the best legislation which Uganda has produced. You know why? Because in the departments before, they will hide behind the departments. But now, under the Human Rights Act, you sue that culprit straight, take him to the court. And I did that. And I did that in one of my human rights applications where I sued Gilbert Kasozi, the chief land officer, his lawyer's firm, and CA's Wamine. Now you see what they did between you. The chief land officer went and connived with the Wamine of CA. And connivance produced a no objection letter. No objection letter. So by this way, they frustrated us, they delayed us. And finally, last time when the case was coming to the court, the land officer and his lawyers were asked to go to CAA, produce an affidavit, asking them what are their grounds of objection. And do that within 10 days, nobody, no such application was filed, nobody came forward. And that's how it is. So now, the court has made order under the Human Rights Act to send a report to the registrar of lands and for the title to be registered. We are waiting for that. We haven't done the report, so we are now through putting application for contempt. Contempt. We have the land officer and so on. And I intend to show them 500 million shillings. Contempt. There is no serious thing. Okay? So now that's where we are. So now, is there anything else you want to ask? You see, you're taking the case which is nonsensical. And with no sense, no head or tail, no legal basis.
Yeah. Now, since we have a old thing, we are in receipt of your communication in respect to the above mentioned matter. We note that the Wakiso District Land Court deferred your application pending input from the authority and hence your request for no objection. We further make reference to a meeting with your counsel, Amalia Joseph, and the undersigned, in which we explained that the authority cannot sanction the said conversion of the land, which is in the vicinity of the runway of Entebbe International Airport for private developments due to associated safety and security concerns. We have previously communicated the above position with the municipal council, town clerk, and requested that the allocation of CAA land or land within the vicinity of the airport to private development be stopped.
Well, these matters have all been dealt with in the courts, have all been thrown out, and really we can't bring it up again to challenge this.
So that's why the court said if CAA
Want to buy the land?
is interested in one or the other, they think that maybe the government will prosecute the state. There is a proper way of acquiring land which someone owns.
I remember once the president was there, and Kasoji raised the question to the president. He said, people are buying this land and so on. What can we do? The president said, it's fine, no problem. We will do it legally. But if you're not happy, you can go and buy it from them. That was his answer. And this is the report here. This is the report here.
They are saying the wetland.
So what happens? If there is an area here, say Ravarama store, so I will apply to physical planner. Then I want to have my roads in that area registered. Survey, not registered, survey. Now, of course, there are no plots have been demarcated, nothing like that. But when you make that application, it is just a draft application. You say, this is the road, we want to have our roads survey. Here we have shown 4 or 5 plots. I don't know how many plots there are. You see? So it is just a silly argument and the lake. It's obviously wrong, yes.
Maybe their objections to first consider these bits of land, part of the land.
We don't have any interest in this land or in the title of land. But you know, these people have no interest, they have no say when you're registering your banjas to freehold. But they can object when you apply for planning, and they can say, oh, no, your land is 25 foot high, your plans will go through that, and you object. You can't pay. So when you come to the construction stage, then you can apply, anybody can apply. But what you can't do is to object when you're registering banjas freehold.
That's was number 1 to 9 of 2019. In that application, it was a judicial application where the landlord had blatantly refused to make any report regarding his application. Now, during the trial, because CAA had already shown interest, at one point they alleged on that part of the land, that the land forms part of the airdrop, runway, I think, nothing like that. You understand? Then, during the trial, CAA withdrew. Why they withdrew? They say that they do not participate in the titling of the land. They based, I think, their idea is on section 46, yes, section 46 says zoning and land use control, civil aviation act, zoning and land use control. In simple terms, CAA can only come in when someone is trying to follow the land. Even though it is on private basis. If you are developing the land, CA will come. Then we say, oh, your neighbors might object. Your neighbors will object. But during titling of the land, it's a preserve of other institutions. CAA is not a titling entity. The withdrawal, it can advise. It can advise on that. Now, it is illegal or irregular for a land officer to seek a no objection letter from a party who is also interested in the land. What would you expect? You and me, we are voting for a certain piece of land. Now, a land officer now asks you for no objection. What would you do? You object. We have a letter where our client tried to eat in fence. The fence was found down on the similar issues. Now, this application 1 to 9 of 2019. they gave works district land board 60 days to make an order, either to grant or not to grant. Telling you, when I give you their report, they raised the same issues. Already, they have been raising the same issue again.
Is there any issue among others that the security that was raised by maybe both so district authorities and the aviation?
My friend, they raised an issue under section 146. It doesn't apply to the land.
Section 46 comes in land use. If you're using that land, will it cause effects to the surrounding? That is it.
I also need to understand, how do you come to know that citizen is interested in this land?
We have.
Well, no, look, whether they are interested or not interested, the court has made an order saying that if CA wants to buy the land from us, we can negotiate.
Yeah, so it's the allegations that maybe there's someone behind the judge. You want to make that deal you.
No, that's why I told you, if him to make a background before you come in the question. He told you why he bought that land. He wanted to specifically understand the grateful. He even has reports and project plans.
Under the statute, under the Land Act. Okay? The Land Act makes it very clear how you apply. And then you apply, and they come in. Yeah, please.
Ask him a question about whether that land is only for that land is not a private land, which was bought from the 20 Vivanja owners. Went on buying that land. Vivanja owners who had Vivanja around the place. No. It's a private land. People who had Vivanja went on selling several portions. From 2007, was buying, then compensating Vivanja. I think it's a misconception where when the board says that it's a public land, it's a misconception.
But if there was any issue about public land, the courts would have picked it up. This is the Lubu when he gave it ruling.
And also several reports from Uganda, from the District Board, doesn't point at anything about land. This was an application of converting privately owned customary land to freehold
under Land Act Section 9. Very important.
Public land, we know there are some lands which are owned by the local government and also Uganda Commission. Yeah, we gave you a report from the wetlands.
Yeah,
where they say that it's okay. All your land does not become part of the wetland, but we have some plots. I think 15 and other plots which do overlap.
They will cut them off. Cut them off.
And he was told that we issue, this is our notification letter that you can go on and register the land subject to we survey to cut off the points of those several plots that overlap there.
But I say that physical.
When you look at this report, you have seen they went on and they did some and they told the district government. Yes. No, there are several.
Yeah, we would like to understand what is the encouragement.
Right, out of 30.
If there are 5 or 6 plots, say 1 acre each, 6 acres. Do the plans. This is the plan here. The minister will not take the case. You know, they're trying to influence others to attack me. Not happen, man, and it will never happen. So if they do, I have all the resources and all the knowledge they have. Selfish interest and so on. That's what it is. But if they try to play this game, then you will be on fire. You wait and see. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope I have been set aside by the courts, judges. And you read their rulings. There's the Lubu, this is the Ghana, and now whatever. And now on the tail end, when they have been beaten with about 400 million shillings, now they want to take it out of me. Either to the press, legally they can't do anything. Legally they can't. I'm going to get my title anyway. Legally they can't do it. What do I intend to bring? Fruit farm. We have wasted 9 years of our time, and I had made a claim of $72 billion, which we suffered. But the judge didn't order that, despite we gave the proof, okay, how much money we would have made. Because you see, they say that you won't be able to afford to pay.
Thank you very much.